Chapter 1 Lauren, a typical teenage girl at 14, enjoyed a wide circle of friends and was quite popular. However, her father had disappeared shortly after her birth, and no one had seen him since. In recent years, Lauren's mother had been haunted by nightmares of her father and insisted she heard a deep, almost distorted version of his voice speaking to her. One morning, Lauren was abruptly awakened by a disturbing noise, a piercing scream, "Eek!" Her mother's frantic cries followed, escalating to what could only be described as a cry of terror. "Mom, are you okay?" Lauren exclaimed, rushing into her mother's room and nearly stumbling over a power cord in her haste. I saw this figure, shrouded in a mask and hood, slowly advancing towards me with a glinting knife. I felt its cold edge against my throat, and before I could react, it vanished into thin air. Lauren's mom recounted, her voice trembling with fear. "Mom, you and Dad had something beautiful, I know it. It's just your mind messing with you since the incident. I never got to meet him, but I'm sure he would have been an incredible father," Lauren reassured, her voice tinged with understanding and sadness. Lauren's mom struggled to get out of bed and hastily put on some clothes. "You still need to get to school on time, you know," she reminded Lauren. "Ugh, obviously, Mom, I already know." Lauren scoffed. They jumped into the car, anticipating a quick 5-minute trip to the high school. However, what should have been a short drive felt interminable, thanks to unexpected traffic that threatened to make them late. Lauren, growing impatient, finally spoke up, "Mom, we've been stuck here for 10 freaking minutes. Take a different route, I can't be late for school." Without hesitation, they exited at the next opportunity. Finally arriving at the school, Lauren exclaimed, "Love you, Mom," before darting inside. That day, there was a challenging test, Algebra 2. Lauren disliked Algebra 2, while most kids her age detested geometry more. She stood apart from them. "Stephen, what's the answer?" Lauren whispered to her friend. "I can't tell you." "What if we get caught cheating?" Stephen replied cautiously. "Well, do you want us to be in the same grade next year?" Lauren pressed. "Fine, it's 86. Stephen exclaimed. "Ms. Jackin, they're cheating." Kylie suddenly interjected. Kylie was always the one to report any signs of cheating or rule breaking. Her strict adherence to the rules often made her unpopular, as it sometimes resulted in others being held back. "Kylie, please be quiet," Lauren snapped. "Lauren, hand over your test immediately. A0 will be recorded in the grade book," Ms. Jackin declared sternly. The class bell chimed, signaling lunchtime. "I'll make it up to you, I promise," Stephen exclaimed as everyone headed out. At lunch, Lauren sat with Jason, Stephen, and Nicole. "Kylie is such a jerk. My chances of passing the class are slim to none now." "Ugh, my mom is going to be furious," Lauren lamented. "Hey, try to think positively, Lauren. Remember tonight? We're all going to the movies. Aren't you excited to see Frown?" Nicole asked cheerfully. "Yeah, I guess I am," Lauren replied. "I'm only going because Lauren is going," Jason admitted. "Are you saying you like me or something?" Lauren teased. "I might have a tiny crush on you, so what?" Jason shrugged. "That's a conversation for later," Lauren suggested. Lauren quickly dialed her mom to ask if she could still go, carefully omitting any mention of the test results for obvious reasons. Her mom replied, "Yes, you can go, but remember to stay safe. You know how some men can be." After school, Lauren, Jason, Stephen, and Nicole rendezvoused and drove to the movie theater. The drive didn't seem long, but it sparked a lengthy conversation. "So, Jason, you really like me?" Lauren exclaimed. "I think you're a pretty girl, that's all. I mean, I'm probably not your type, but..." Jason began, before Stephen interjected. "How do you know?" Have you ever asked her how she feels? Stephen asked. Jason, honestly, you're a good guy and I. Lauren's sentence was interrupted. Guys, we're here. Nicole exclaimed. We can talk about it later, I promise, Lauren exclaimed, her words carrying a subtle undertone. After obtaining their tickets, they entered the movie theater. The film lasted a solid 2 hours. That was quite something, Nicole remarked as they exited the theater. But it was fun, Lauren added with a smile. As they strolled back towards the entrance, Jason approached Lauren and gently tapped her on the shoulder. Hey, can we talk now? He asked. Lauren glanced at Stephen and Nicole. Hey guys, could we have a moment to chat about something? She requested. Stephen nodded understandingly. Sure, take your time. We'll wait. Lauren and Jason found themselves in a secluded corner of the theater plaza. I really like you, Jason. You're an amazing guy and. Before she could finish her sentence, they both leaned in for a kiss. But just as their lips met, the power abruptly went out, causing them to quickly pull away in surprise. It's pitch black in here. I can't see a thing, Jason exclaimed, a hint of nervousness in his voice. In the murky distance, echoing cries that resembled screams clawed through the silence. Lauren's breath hitched as she glimpsed a figure lurking behind Jason. It was no ordinary being, its silhouette draped in a tattered hood and a sinister mask that seemed to meld with shadows. Drawing nearer, its unearthly presence sent shivers down her spine, a terrifying confirmation that this entity mirrored the very horrors her mother had warned about. Jason, please, don't look back. Just keep walking towards me, Lauren pleaded urgently, her voice tinged with raw fear. What happens if I look back? Jason's voice trailed off as he turned slowly, the words catching in his throat. His eyes widened in horror as he beheld the grotesque scene behind him. Run! Lauren's scream pierced the air, a primal cry of terror echoing through the empty corridors. They sprinted, their footsteps echoing loudly against the cold, tiled floor. Shadows danced around them, sinister and malevolent. Down the hallway, the air thickened with the stench of decay. They stumbled upon a nightmare, corpses strewn across the ground, some decomposing before their very eyes, others which seemed to have been ignited with flames, inexplicably rising from the blood-stained tiles. The dim light flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to reach out for them. Why are they approaching us? Lauren screamed, her voice strained with fear. Do you think I have any idea? Jason yelled, struggling to be heard over the cacophony of horror engulfing them. I'll contact the others, Lauren exclaimed. She dialed Nicole and Stephen, but there was no answer. No answer from either of them. Lauren's voice echoed through the stillness, tinged with urgency. I have an idea, but we need to hurry, Jason interjected sharply, his tone fraught with concern. What is it? Lauren's voice quivered with apprehension. See that back door? We might be able to make it over. Jason's words came out hurriedly, urgency dripping from every syllable. Well then, run! Lauren's command sliced through the air, urgency giving way to sheer panic. They sprinted towards the back door, looming ominously in the dim light, but it seemed to be locked tight, denying them their last hope of escape. Jason declared, I'll kick it open. Stand back. We're being chased to death by a masked man with a knife, and you're telling me to stand back? Lauren retorted incredulously. Well, it depends. Do you want to live or not? Jason responded. Jason kicked the door impulsively, causing the glass to shatter. They dashed outside and spotted Stephen and Nicole waiting in the car. Guys, what happened? Why didn't you answer? Jason asked. We had our phones on silent. Someone was eager to leave, convinced you wouldn't make it out alive, Nicole exclaimed, looking over at Stephen. On the drive home, a heavy silence filled the car, broken only by Lauren's attempts to reach her mom, each call slipping into voicemail. Jason reached out, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Hey, it's okay. I'm sure she's all right. She's probably just as worried about you," Jason reassured her. Nicole pulled up to her house at last. "I'll see you guys tomorrow," Lauren said, stepping out of the car. "I'll walk her in, just to be safe," Jason added, exiting from the same side. Nicole and Steven drove off. "It was a wild night, but I'm glad I spent it with you," Jason remarked. Without hesitation, they leaned in and shared their first kiss. For Lauren, it was her first kiss ever with a boy. "See you tomorrow," Lauren said, giving him a hug. As she walked away, she thought, "How am I going to explain this to Mom?" "Mom!" Lauren exclaimed as she walked inside, receiving no reply. "She's probably just asleep," Lauren thought to herself. She hadn't eaten since just before they left for the movie. After finishing her cereal, she went upstairs to change into pajamas and go to bed. However, at the top of the stairs, she was stunned to find a trail of blood leading straight to her mom's room. Lauren's trembling fingers hesitated as she reached for her mother's door handle. A cold knot of dread coiled in her stomach as she whispered, "No, please no." As the door groaned open with a bone-chilling creak, a putrid stench permeated the air. Lauren's eyes widened in horror as they fell upon a gruesome scene that would forever haunt her nightmares. Her mother lay lifeless on the floor, her body a grotesque tapestry of blood and wounds. A sharp knife was plunged into her heart, its blade glistening crimson in the dim light. Arterial blood flowed freely, creating a gruesome pool beneath her. Instead of the rational response of summoning help, Lauren's mind raced with fear. She fumbled for her phone and dialed Jason. "Jason, my mom. She's dead. She was stabbed," she screamed, her voice a cracked whisper of terror. "Okay, do you see anything else that could indicate who might have committed the murder?" Jason asked urgently. Lauren knelt down and began scouring the floor for any additional clues. After a moment, she reached under the bed and retrieved something. "It's a note!" Lauren exclaimed. "What does the note say?" Jason inquired anxiously. Lauren paused, taking a deep breath. "It says, 'Don't leave your home, you might never go back.'" Chapter 2. Early the next morning, Lauren and Jason rushed urgently to the police station. Lauren quickly texted the rest of their group, instructing them to join her there without delay. They had purposely waited until morning. Conducting their business at night would have been impractical and unsettling. Lauren's nerves were on edge ever since she had received that ominous note the day before. The weight of uncertainty hung heavy in the air as they awaited further developments at the station. "Wait, let me get this straight," the officer began, peering over his notepad. "You were at the movies when you were attacked by a masked man?" "Yes, officer, that's exactly what happened," Steven confirmed. "And can we also talk about the fact that some people were disintegrating from existence?" Nicole added, her voice tinged with urgency. "Isn't that strange? And those people on fire seemed to, well, something weird happened with them." Jason pulled up the news on his phone. "Guys, you need to see this. Downtown movie theater engulfed in flames, multiple casualties reported, and in a bizarre twist during the fire, individuals presumed dead were seen walking out unharmed. Could this be connected to the masked man seen entering the building? More details on Fox 4 News." "You know what this means, right?" Jason asked. "That we're all totally screwed?" "Oh yeah, we've been cruising toward that conclusion for a while now," Nicole exclaimed, half serious, half laughing. Lauren urged them to relax. "Guys, calm down. We have a better chance of survival if we stop arguing and stay focused." The officer approached and stated, "We will investigate your mother's murder. Until then, I advise you to be extremely cautious. We need to hurry to school, we only have an hour before it starts." Steven exclaimed. "You're going to have to deal with Ms. Jackin today," Nicole added. "Honestly, with everything going on right now, my grade is the least of my worries." Lauren exclaimed. Upon arrival at the school, they observed Kylie patiently waiting for them by the front entrance. Lauren, Ms. Jacken is dead because of you. You couldn't risk her failing you, so you grabbed a knife, stabbed her, and slipped away before anyone could see, Kylie accused, her voice trembling with anger and accusation. Wait, Ms. Jacken is dead. Stephen exclaimed. You're acting surprised, Kylie countered. Kylie, listen. What I'm about to tell you may sound crazy, but when that masked man broke into the movies that me and the others attended the other night, strange things started happening. People who were engulfed in flames briefly came back to life in violent ways. Many seemed to disintegrate. When I got home, I found my mom dead with a note. I kept it in my pocket in case it's needed as evidence, Lauren explained. Show me this note, Kylie demanded. Lauren pulled the note from her pocket and handed it to Kylie. You didn't write this note. You know how I know? Because you can't have a pen that writes in blood. This means something, Kylie declared. How can we prove it to you? Jason asked. Well, to find out what really happened to Ms. Jacken, we'd need to access the school's security cameras, which means sneaking past security, Lauren suggested. I think I might be able to help with that, Kylie exclaimed. The school bell rang, signaling that it was time for them all to go to their first period class. Catch ya later, Kylie exclaimed. Those are words I never thought I would hear her say. Nicole exclaimed. Around noon, everyone gathered, and to everyone's surprise, Kylie actually joined them. Here's the plan, she announced confidently. I'll distract the guards by informing them that the principal wants to discuss new rules. Meanwhile, you inform the principal that a district mandate requires immediate attention. I've crafted a convincing document to sway him. As long as we avoid encountering your mysterious masked man, we should succeed. And that's what frightens me, Lauren exclaimed. Don't worry, Jason reassured. You have us now. What can that silly masked man possibly do? He can't handle all of us. And if this plan miraculously falls into place, it will, won't it? Stephen's voice quivered with a hint of uncertainty. Besides, if the masked man does happen to appear, we'll just slip away, Nicole asserted, though her tone belied a nervous edge. But what if things go awry? What if it goes south? Remember how close we came to disaster last time, all because Jason thought a locked glass door was the answer? Lauren's voice trembled, haunted by the memory. Well, forgive me for wanting a future with you, Lauren. Jason's voice cracked with frustration. No, that's not what I meant at all. I was just scared. Terrified I might not make it out alive. But if I had to face that moment, at least I'd face it with you. Lauren's voice softened, filled with emotion. Whoa, hold up. Is there a romance here? Kylie interjected. And maybe romance can wait if things are this serious. She's right, guys, we need to focus on getting to those cams, Nicole exclaimed. Kylie firmly addressed the guards. The principal needs us to discuss some new rule changes, so let's move quickly. The security guard exclaimed. Absolutely. Kylie affirmed. Meanwhile, Lauren and the others hurried to the office to meet Principal Hyla. Is this an official document from the district? Principal Hyla inquired. Stephen quickly interjected, my sister, who works for the district, needed this document delivered to you. The school security will brief you on it. Once the guards and the principal convened, Kylie and the others gathered in the area behind the school where the security cameras were housed. Are you all ready for this? Nicole asked. Stephen took a deep breath before asking, if this plan fails, do we have a backup? No, so we have to ensure it doesn't fail. Jason exclaimed. Lauren cautiously opened the back door. What followed was quite daunting, a long flight of stairs that seemed to ascend endlessly. What felt like 2 long hours later, they were still climbing. Hey Stephen, I didn't know you had a sister. Jason said as they finally reached the top of the staircase. I don't. I lied. It was the only thing I could think of in that moment. Stephen confessed. Why were you asking about it? Lauren inquired as they strolled down the hallways. Just out of curiosity, Jason replied. Nicole, lost in thought, murmured to herself, what's going on? Lauren asked, nothing much, just thinking about various things. It's very personal, you know? I'm still shaken up from the incident the other night and Nicole trailed off. Wow, that's heavy, Kylie remarked. Stephen's attention turned toward a seemingly unlocked room. The door seemed to be cracked open in an almost unsettling way. Hey, I think the cams might be in that room. Looks like someone forgot to close the door, Stephen remarked. We should split up and search different rooms in pairs. Lauren, Jason, and Nicole can team up, and Stephen and I will search together, Kylie suggested. Lauren hesitated. Whoa, hold up, she exclaimed. I say we give her a chance. If things go wrong, we can address it afterward. Nicole exclaimed. Suddenly, the lights began to flicker, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls. In and out they went, as if struggling against an unseen force. So, Stephen. What's it like going to the movies with your friends? I wouldn't know. My friends never invite me to anything, Kylie stated with a hint of bitterness. Well, maybe if we make it out alive, I could take you to a movie sometime. If Lauren would allow it after you messed up her Algebra 2 test, Stephen replied nervously, glancing around as he and Kylie walked past the open doorway into the dimly lit room. On the table lay a Windows computer and a mysterious flash drive. Meanwhile, Lauren and the others checked the rest of the hallway. This door's locked too, Lauren declared, her voice tinged with frustration. Why the heck are all these doors locked? Nicole burst out in anger. Suddenly, Jason felt his phone vibrate in his pocket. Lauren, Stephen's calling, Jason exclaimed urgently. Well, answer it. Lauren snapped. Hello. Jason answered cautiously. Oh, hey. I think Kylie and I might have found it, Stephen's voice crackled through the phone. Really? Jason's heart raced. Yeah, it was some Windows computer. There was a flash drive next to it. I loaded it up and found a bunch of video files from the cams. The most recent ones from today. Stephen exclaimed. Dude, that's amazing. We're coming, Jason replied, excitement evident in his voice as he hung up. What did he say? Lauren demanded. They found it, the footage from today. Jason announced breathlessly. Lauren, Jason, and Nicole hurried back down the hallway. I think I might actually believe you guys now. Kylie exclaimed, a nervous laugh escaping her. Ugh, those grades never seemed to end. Felt like grading 5 times the usual load, Ms. Jackin muttered to herself wearily. She got up from her desk with a yawn, intending to leave the classroom. But as she reached for the door, her heart sank locked tight. Help! Please, someone help! Ms. Jackin's voice trembled with horror as she cried out desperately. The air seemed to grow heavier around her, suffused with an eerie silence that amplified the pounding of her heart. Suddenly, a faint, unsettling sound began to emanate from the air conditioner directly above her. Hello! Her voice quivered as she called out, hoping for a reassuring response. There was no answer, only a chilling stillness that hung in the air like a sinister presence. This isn't funny, whoever you are. Ms. Jackin's words echoed hollowly in the room, but instead of a reply, the air conditioner above her started to shake violently, its metal casing creaking and groaning under an unseen force. Suddenly the shacking stopped. Ms. Jackin, horrified, turned back to go sit at her desk. When she turned around, the masked man was behind her. He cut a sharp knife into her stomach. Her screams could be heard as they blood spread everywhere. Is that where the video stops? Lauren inquired. At least we got what we need to know. Stephen's voice was cut off as he was violently slammed against the wall, a cold blade pressing against his throat. No, don't! Kaylee's scream pierced the air, filled with terror. Everyone was frozen in horror. Stephen's screams could be heard in the air as the knife cut into his neck and he started to bleed out. The masked man started to cut deeper into his neck and the screams were getting louder. The masked man finished him off with one final slash as he took off his head and vanished into thin air. No! Lauren screamed. I had just gotten to know him and, Kylie stated, deeply crying. She was interpreted by Lauren. I should have known better than to leave you with him. He's gone now and it's all because of you. Lauren screamed. It's not her fault. Jason exclaimed. Kylie didn't have anything to do with this, Nicole yelled. Suddenly what sounded like tapping from the bottom of the stairs broke the screaming. Hey Kylie, this is school security. We're onto you. You slipped the principal a fake document, then pulled a fast one on us to sneak in. Come clean now or you're in for a ride downtown. The guard's voice crackled with urgency. Please don't turn me in. Kylie whispered to Lauren. Fine, let's hide. Lauren exclaimed. Where can we hide? Jason asked. I see a table in that other room, we can all fit under it. Nicole exclaimed. Kylie, Lauren, Jason, and Nicole ducked under the table and flipped off the light switch. Lauren sucked in several deep breaths, each one a ticking time bomb in Nicole's mind, threatening to explode and reveal their presence. I'm dead serious, Kylie, the guard's voice echoed ominously, drawing nearer. Suddenly, he burst into the room, freezing the group into breathless silence. There's nothing here, he declared sharply before stalking out, leaving them in heart-pounding relief. We can't just hide here. Lauren hissed urgently. What's our move, then? Kylie demanded. Look at that vent. I think we can climb up there. Lauren exclaimed. With hearts pounding, Lauren, Jason, Nicole, and Kylie squeezed into the narrow shaft. Their hurried crawl echoed faintly above the ground. Down below, a guard's voice carried, likely discovering Stephen's lifeless body. As they finally reached the other side of the vent, they landed on the grass in front of them. Wow, the sun is setting already. Jason exclaimed. Your parents are probably worried about you, Lauren remarked. Jason explained that he had told his parents he would be spending the night out with friends. Kylie exclaimed, my parents are out of town, so I'm home alone. Nicole exclaimed, I'm always out at night, and my parents usually don't care. Lauren suggested, we should stick together at my house, just for tonight. Chapter 3 As the chime of midnight tolled, cloaking the world in an eerie tranquility, a faint whisper cut through the silence, its sinister melody piercing Nicole's slumbering mind. He 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 he, Nicole, 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 the voice taunted, a cruel mockery that sent shivers down her spine. Nicole's eyes fluttered open, her heart pounding in her chest. Her body was frozen, a prisoner of an unseen force. Panic surged through her as a masked figure emerged from the shadows, its opaque mask concealing its features. Embracedeath, the masked man hissed, its voice a venomous whisper. As Nicole watched in horror, the figure's hand transformed into a blazing inferno, its menacing flames reaching out to claim her soul. A strange, otherworldly sensation enveloped her, as if the masked entity was seeping into her very being, seizing control over her body and mind. With an unearthly murmur, Nicole's voice echoed the figure's words, her intonation devoid of the individuality that once defined her. Embracedeath. The house's walls became translucent as Nicole found herself compelled towards the front door, her steps heavy and mechanical. As she stumbled onto the deserted street, an inexplicable force took hold of her, guiding her towards an unknown destination. Suddenly, the masked figure materialized once more, separating from Nicole's body with a sickening crunch. Nicole collapsed to the ground, her limbs sprawled out as she lay stranded on the unforgiving asphalt. With agonizing speed, a screeching car hurtled down the road, its headlights illuminating the darkness. Trapped in a cruel and inescapable moment, Nicole watched in terror as the vehicle bore down upon her. In a blinding flash of metal and glass, Nicole's body was shattered, her life extinguished in an instant. Blood and gore splattered across the road, a gruesome testament to the finality of her fate. And as the last vestiges of life ebbed away, Nicole's soul ascended to the unknown, forever bound to the haunting words that had precipitated her untimely demise. EMBRACEDEATH Chapter 4 The next morning, Lauren, Jason, and Kylie woke up as usual, but Lauren immediately noticed that Nicole was not in the house. "Hey, has anyone seen Nicole this morning?" Lauren asked with concern. "No, I haven't," Kylie replied, sounding worried. "I can't find her anywhere inside," Jason added. "Maybe she's outside," Kylie suggested eagerly. They went out, and as soon as they stepped into the open, Lauren was struck with shock. "Nicole, no!" she screamed. "I wonder what happened." "Nicole wouldn't just disappear like this," Jason said, clearly bewildered. "What if that masked person did something to her?" Kylie speculated. "It looks like she was hit by a car." "Nicole wouldn't randomly wander off at night," Lauren said, her voice trembling. "That thing must have done something to her." Lauren noticed her phone buzzing in her pocket. "Jason, Kylie, are you seeing this?" she exclaimed, reading aloud the breaking news alert. "Several school guards have been killed, including Principal Hyla. There's a masked killer involved, and strange activity at the old lab in the downtown hills. Pilots reported sightings of him there. We have to go after them," Jason urged eagerly. "We can't go without protection. We need to stop at the arms shop first," Lauren insisted. They swiftly jumped into Lauren's car and sped towards the arms shop. After quickly acquiring guns, they hurried over to the lab. They finally arrived at the lab, tension thick in the air as they cautiously scanned the dimly lit corners, half expecting the masked figure to emerge from the shadows. Instead, their attention was drawn to the soft glow of the computer screen, illuminating the room with an eerie light. Lauren approached the terminal hesitantly, her fingers gliding over the keyboard to bypass the security protocols. The screen flickered to life, revealing a series of files labeled with cryptic names and unsettling details. Jason leaned in closer, peering at the screen with furrowed brows. "What's this about Die-28J?" he asked, his voice hushed but filled with curiosity. Lauren scrolled through the documents, her expression growing more troubled with each line she read. "It's a creature," she explained quietly. "According to these files, it has the ability to possess others using fire." Jason's eyes widened in disbelief. "Possession, with fire? That's unbelievable." Lauren nodded grimly. "There's more," she added, her voice tinged with sorrow. "Look at this." She clicked on a video file titled Research Log, Day 12. The screen flickered again, revealing her father's face, tense and weary. "Hey, today we made further progress with the creature known as Die-28J and I." His words were cut short as a shadowy figure lunged at him from the darkness. Lauren gasped as she watched her father struggle against the creature's grasp. "Run!" he yelled, his voice echoing with desperation. "Protect our child, protect Lauren." The video abruptly ended, leaving a haunting silence in the room. Jason stared at the screen, his mind racing to comprehend the horror they were uncovering. "So your dad, he was warning someone about this thing?" Lauren nodded silently, tears welling up in her eyes. "He always documented everything, whether it was writing or video. But this is different. He was taken." Their thoughts were interrupted by a sudden realization as they continued to search through the files. "Look," Jason said quietly, pointing at another document. "It says here, the creature possessed your dad. It gave him the mask and the hood." Lauren's breath caught in her throat. It possessed him. She struggled to process the revelation, her heart heavy with grief and disbelief. We need to understand more about this creature, Jason said firmly, his voice filled with determination despite the fear lingering in the air. Lauren nodded, wiping away tears with a shaky hand. We have to stop it. Whatever it is, whatever it did to my dad, we can't let it happen to anyone else. With renewed resolve, they delved deeper into the files, uncovering the secrets of Di-28J and the chilling mystery of what had befallen Lauren's father in that ominous laboratory. But he'll kill you! Jason exclaimed, his voice trembling. And the curse will spread. Kylie cried, her eyes wide with terror. Undeterred, Lauren stood tall. Not if I kill him first, she declared fiercely. The curse can't reach me if he's dead. With grim determination, they stepped into an isolated field area. The masked man watched them approach, his eyes hidden behind a cold and merciless expression. It's over, Dad! Lauren screamed, drawing a concealed shotgun. In a flash, she fired, sending the masked man sprawling to the ground. As he lay wounded, Lauren saw her opportunity. She grabbed his knife and lunged, slicing it deep into his heart. But in a moment of defiance, the masked man uttered a venomous curse. Flames erupted from his body, engulfing Lauren in an inferno. Don't worry, it won't spread. Just run! Lauren shouted amidst the searing agony. Jason and Kylie watched in horror as their friend disappeared into the flames. With heavy hearts, they turned and fled back towards the town, knowing that Lauren had made the ultimate sacrifice to break the curse. As they ran, Jason and Kylie couldn't shake the feeling that Lauren's words held a deeper meaning. The curse was a supernatural threat. Her death won't be in vain, Kylie vowed, a newfound determination steeling her resolve. And so, Jason and Kylie emerged from the lab, carrying the burden of their friend's sacrifice. The curse of the masked man may have been broken, but a close friend had been lost. The weeks without Lauren weighed heavily on Jason, each passing day a struggle to cope with her absence. The school corridors seemed quieter, lacking her infectious laughter and vibrant presence. Jason found solace in routine, though it offered little comfort. One afternoon, after a particularly mundane series of classes, Jason found himself lingering in the school courtyard, reminiscing about moments shared with Lauren. His thoughts were interrupted by Kylie, who approached him with a sympathetic smile. I'm sure she's thinking about you, Kylie said softly, her eyes reflecting genuine concern. Jason managed a weak smile in return. Thanks, Kylie. I appreciate it, he replied, his voice tinged with melancholy. As the final bell rang, signaling the end of the day, Jason felt a sense of relief mixed with exhaustion. The school corridors, once bustling with students, were now quiet and bathed in the warm hues of the setting sun. He turned to Kylie, still by his side. You know, I just wish I could talk to her, Jason confessed quietly, his gaze wandering towards the restroom area. Kylie nodded understandingly. Maybe it would help. It's been tough on everyone, she offered, her voice gentle. With a nod of gratitude, Jason headed towards the restroom, the sound of his footsteps echoing faintly against the tiled floor. Lost in thoughts about upcoming exams and the weight of Lauren's absence, he approached the familiar door. With a sigh, he pushed it open and stepped into the dimly lit space, flipping the light switch with a habitual click. Just as the fluorescent lights buzzed to life, he froze. There she stood, Lauren, now unrecognizable with a hood and mask concealing her features. Lauren! Jason whispered in disbelief, his voice barely audible in the quiet room. I'm sorry, Jason. You lost. Lauren's voice was flat, devoid of its usual warmth, her eyes obscured behind the mask. Jason's mind raced to make sense of her words. Lost? What do you mean? He managed to ask, his voice trembling slightly. This school is vulnerable. Once I ignite this, everyone is gone. I'm sorry, Jason, but you've lost, Lauren declared, her tone eerily calm as she pulled out a lighter from her pocket. Jason's heart pounded in his chest, a surge of panic rising within him. He instinctively moved towards the door, his hand reaching for the handle, only to find it stubbornly locked. His breath caught in his throat as the realization sank in he was trapped in this confined space with Lauren, who seemed like a stranger now, wielding a threat that was incomprehensible. Desperation clawed at him. "Lauren, please," he began, his voice pleading. But before he could finish, Lauren flicked the lighter. Flick. Whoosh.